And welcome to this news for February 19th, 2019. Let's get right into refereeing these mega media outlets. So, the treasonous trio has taken a different twist on the liberal side. They're now covering this as if they were doing something noble or a good gesture, and some have gone as far as to say that Trump's accusations are actually a thing of fiction, while the conservative media has focused heavily on the premeditated factors related to this event. Uh, I think it's important also to note that there had to be that there is some ignoring of the wording of the 25th Amendment as well as its intent, since it was something more structural than what they were trying to do with it. Anyway, and the boy who cried wolf, the liberal media is now saying that they have learned their lesson and need to let things play out a little more and let the facts play out before they jump to conclusions. Something I would hope they would learn and should already know, but we'll see how that goes. I imagine it will um, not have much bearing on how they report the news in the future. So the conservative media is saying that we shouldn't let this go and that it should be made example of, something that I stated yesterday early on in this, and I agree with that. I think that this is a hate crime and it needs to be treated as such. In libel law, one of the justices has recommended that we reconsider laws that were put in place to limit the freedom of public figures to operate like citizens and holding people accountable for lies spread against them. And I think this is a good thing, and I think it's a great way to help combat mega media outlets and their desire to get information out fast without actually knowing what's going on. And if they're held accountable, I think they'll stop and think a little bit more, as we learned in the Covington case when their lawyers today filed for a $250 million suit against the Washington Post, and I believe they're claiming they're going to be filing more, which I can't wait to see, and I hope they win. It is well deserved. Uh, in frivolous lawsuits, there is 16 states, I think I last read, that are signed on to a suit against the president's emergency declaration, which I think this was a foreseen thing and a waste of time and just another distraction. It will not go anywhere. Sad day. Uh, Bullet train. Okay, and the Department of Transportation wants to cut they're going to cut over $900 million in funding to California for their what is apparently a failed project, according to the conservative media, and a project that is being used in the ongoing war between President Trump and California, if you watch the liberal media. The paddling of Putin. The U.S. Military has apparently moved some of its hardware a little closer to Russia as a response to Putin being Putin and Russia being Russia and playing by their own rules. I would also like to note that Russia's buddies down in Cuba turned away a couple of cruise ships today. Outside of that, the rest of the news was pretty much junk. There was not a whole bunch of other things worth covering that I noticed. Remember, we need to be told the information, not how to think about the information. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, share, follow, invite your friends, invite your family. Go down and give us a little review. We could use a couple of those. I appreciate it. This news is out.